Okay, last op-amp circuit is an instrumentation amplifier. Today's topic is an instrumentation amplifier. Okay, after this we will discuss about filters, different types of filters. Okay, what is instrumentation amplifier? Already we have seen different types of op-amp circuits such as inverting type, non-inverting type, summing, difference, differential, and integration, and voltage follower and current follower and comparator. These are the op-amp circuits we have seen in previous class. And the last one, that is instrumentation amplifier. Okay, now we see an instrumentation amplifier. The circuit of the instrumentation amplifier is like this. Okay, is the combination of different op-amps. Here we have two buffer op-amps here. Okay, the main advantage of the instrumentation amplifier is possess high input impedance, high common mode rejection ratio. Okay, these two are the main advantages of the instrumentation amplifier. What are those? One is high input impedance and high common mode rejection ratio. Because of these two characteristics, instrumentation amplifier is used for measurement application. Means these are used in instrumentation. Okay, here see the circuit. This is the one op-amp operational amplifier. This second one, these output of these two amplifiers, the input of the next stage op-amp. Okay, these two are called buffer op-amps operational amplifiers. Here the input voltages are connected to the positive terminal, means those are connected to the non-inverting end. These input voltages are connected to the non-inverting ends of the op-amps, and inverting ends are connected in with some feedback circuits to output voltages. And here one more resistance is there, that is Re. This is called external resistance. This is called external resistance Re. By varying this resistance, okay, we can adjust the gain of the amplifier. Total gain of the amplifier is adjusted, means with the help of this external resistance. Okay, now the equation total output voltage for this input voltages V1 and V2 is like this. This is the equation, gives the relationship between the output voltage and input voltages. Now see this equation. Here what are the, here this is the input, this is the output, this is the gain. This is the multiplication of these two factors gives the gain of the amplifier. See this, the gain of the amplifier is depending on the resistances Re, Rf, R2. Here the main influence is external resistance. By varying this Re, you can change the gain of this total circuit. So by varying external resistance, we can adjust the gain of the amplifier according to our application. This is called instrumentation amplifier. This is the combination of three amplifiers. Okay, what is the use of this amplifier, this type of circuit? It has high impedance circuit, high input impedance, and second one is it has common mode rejection ratio, high common mode rejection ratio. Now we see what is common mode rejection ratio. Already I explained, already I said about virtual short. Means suppose the input voltages are equal. Suppose the input voltages means V1 is equal to V2. That is called common mode voltage. Means the input two voltages at input is equal. Means V1 is equal to V2. Then what is the V out? V out is the gain into V2 minus V1. Means V2 V1 is equal. The difference between the V2 and V1 is equal to 0. So then automatically output voltage also 0. So in common mode situation, the output voltage is 0. This is the ideal case. But in actual practical case, even at common mode voltage also, we have certain output voltage. Even the V1 and V2 are equal, but still we get some voltage. If V1 and V2 are equal, V out should be 0. But in actual condition, we will get some output voltage. Okay, that one is called common mode voltage. Okay, this is the problem with the amplifier. We need to minimize this common mode voltage. Okay, because this will influence the measurement, means this will influence the input voltage. So we have to minimize the common mode voltage which is obtained at the V out, even V1 is equal to V2. Okay, see this is the problem in many applications. Here the ability of the operational amplifier is depending on the to minimize the influence of the common mode voltage. Okay, here we are using some parameter to measure this common mode voltage, that is common mode rejection ratio. Common mode rejection ratio is nothing but the ratio of differential gain of the op amp to the common mode gain. What is the common mode rejection ratio? It is the ratio of the differential gain to the common mode gain. Differential gain in the sense is for input there is some gain in the output in previous circuit, that is instrumentation amplifier. Okay, that is differential gain, means overall gain is that. Okay, if V1 is equal to V2, still we have some gain at output, that is common mode gain. The ratio between the differential gain and the common mode gain is called common mode rejection ratio. So the common mode rejection ratio should be high, means we have to minimize the common mode gain. Then only common mode rejection ratio is high. So high common mode rejection ratio is needed for any amplifier, okay, to minimize the instability in the op amplifier. So we have for see this. So instrumentation amplifier has high impedance, input impedance. At the same time, it possesses high common mode rejection ratio, means the common mode gain is very less. The common mode gain is very less. We are minimizing the common mode gain. Okay, this is the why instrumentation amplifier is used in instrumentation application, is because of this has the high input impedance and high common mode rejection ratio, means there is no the voltage produced at common voltage at V1 and V2 is very less, means the gain at common mode is less. We have to minimize that. Okay, this is about amplifiers. This is the last amplifier. Okay, op amp, that is instrumentation amplifier. I will explain that common mode voltage. What is common mode voltage? If V1 is equal to V2, V out should be 0, but practically it has some value. Okay, that is called common mode voltage, means V1 is equal to V2, means V2 minus V1 is equal to 0. V out should be 0, but not here, not 0. That voltage is called common mode voltage. We have to minimize that voltage. Then only we get better readings, better working of this operational amplifier. Okay, for that, avoiding that common voltage, we have a parameter, that is common mode rejection ratio. To minimize common mode voltage means we are having high common mode rejection ratio, that is the desirable for many applications. Okay, that is the advantage of the instrumentation amplifier. Okay, this is about operational amplifier. Next one is filters. Okay, now we see the filters. See this. Okay, so we are getting the output from the sensor. Okay, some measuring input is from the sensors. That input has certain frequency, that shows certain frequency. If the signal is moving in the environment which has the electromagnetic waves environment, definitely there will be some noise is adding to this signal. Okay, for reduction of that noise signal, we are using some devices, those are called filters. Okay, that reducing the noise from the signals, the process is called noise reduction, and the devices which are used for noise reduction from the signals is called filter. Okay, here filter is a device that only allows the desirable part of frequency only. Desirable frequency of the signal is passing through particular filter, and it rejects the unwanted part of the signal. Okay, a filter allows certain frequency of signal through it and rejects the remaining frequencies. That is called filter. Okay, uh, the range of frequencies allowed to filter is called pass bandwidth. The range of frequencies allowed to transmit is known as a pass band. Okay, based on this pass band, we have different types of filters. Okay, in now we will discuss about different types of filters, how they filter the frequencies, certain frequencies through it. Okay, here filters are two types, classified into two types. One is passive type, second one is active filters. First one, passive type means it consists the passive elements like resistor, capacitor, inductor. Those are the passive elements. Means, okay, they don't produce any power source. They don't require external power source. Okay, these are called passive elements. Means resistor, capacitor, inductor. If the filter circuit consists of these elements, this is called passive analog filters. If active means it consists of active components like transistors and operational amplifier, including resistor, capacitor, and inductor, that consists of transistors and operational amplifier. Then the filters are called active filters. Okay, here the external power is needed for the operation of the active elements. Here the external power is not needed. Here we need some external power. Okay, passive analog filter consists of passive elements like resistor, capacitor, and inductor. Active filters consists of with passive elements. It also consists of some active elements like transistors and operational amplifier. Okay, here we have only filtering only. Here filtering plus gain also there. Amplification also possible with active filters. Okay, and these are the advantages of the active filters. Okay, in active filters the load effect is negligible. Okay, and the low signal can be amplified along with the filtering, and filtering and amplifying is possible with the help of active filters. In passive filters we can only filter the signal, we can't amplify in case of passive filters, but in case of active filters we can filter that and amplify it. Okay, next, they are available in low cost and compact IC, means integrated circuit form. That's why active filters are widely used in industries. Okay, at the same time they are free from the electromagnetic interface. Okay, that is also one of the advantages of the active filters. Okay, now we see what is filter. Okay, here we have different types of frequencies. This is high frequency signal, this is low frequency, this is medium frequency. If we need only low frequency signals, okay, then we have to filter these two frequencies, means we reject these two, only allow the low frequency. Suppose we need high frequency, we are restricting the flow of low frequency and medium frequency, we only allow high frequency signals by using filters. Okay, here we have four types of filters: low pass filters, high pass filters, and band pass filters and band reject filter. We have four type of filters: low pass, high pass, band pass, and band reject. First we see the low pass filters. Okay, if the filter allows the low frequency up to certain range, that is called low pass filter. Here we have three frequencies. The filter only allows the low frequency, means the cycle for time is less. So this is called low pass filter. Now first we see the low pass filter. This is the frequency response curve for the low pass filter, means this is the cutoff frequency. Omega c is the cutoff frequency. The filter only allows the frequency below this frequency, cutoff frequency only. This band only allowed, means from 0 to omega c, the frequency between the 0 to omega c only allowed through filter. The frequency of the signals which is above this cutoff frequency are rejected by the filter, then it is called low pass filters. Means low pass filters allows only low frequency from the signal without damaging the information in the signal. We can filter the frequency below frequency, low frequencies. Okay, this is the frequency response curve of the low pass filter. Here see the two circuits here. This is the passive circuit of the low pass filter. Okay, here we are connecting two elements, that is resistance and capacitance. Okay, in this manner we are giving input here and we are taking output here. Okay, this is called passive filter. This is the circuit of the passive filter. This is the circuit of the active filter. What is the difference between passive filter and active filter? We have additionally we have some op amp, means operational amplifier. Operational amplifier. The output from these two elements at this output is given to the operational amplifier. Here we are getting some gain and some input impedance also. Okay, here what is the problem between this passive and active low pass filter? Here the output voltage is lower than this input voltage. The output voltage is lower than input voltage. Okay, in case of passive volt, means the voltage, output voltage is reduced. Okay, that is the disadvantage of the passive filter. Okay, here the output is more than input, because after passing these elements, the output voltage here is less, but we are getting some gain through operational amplifier. That is the advantage of the active filters. Okay, here how it works. Now see this. Okay, here we are in low pass filter, we are arranging resistance and capacitance. Okay, now V out from this is the node. This is the node between the resistance and capacitance by using the dividing rule, voltage dividing rule. Already I told. Okay, V out is equal to XC, means reactance of the capacitance. Okay, capacitance reactance means it is the resistance to capacitance. Okay, that is called reactance. Reactance by XC by, that is the reactance of the capacitance, by XC plus R, resistance XC plus R into V in, by applying voltage dividing rule. Okay, V out is equal to XC by XC plus R into V in. Now see this equation. The output voltage is depending on the XC and R, resistance. Here the main factor is SC. Okay, if you increase the XC, V out increases. Now the reactance has some relationship between the frequency. Okay, here XC is equal to 1 by omega C. Here omega is the frequency. Omega is frequency, that is omega is equal to 2 pi f. Okay, now the frequency is depending on the reactance. Here both are connected in inverse manner, means if you increase the frequency, reactance decreases. Here reactance decreases means V out decreases. Okay, means if frequency increases, okay, suppose the frequency is infinity, what by 1 by infinity is 0. 1 by infinity is 0, XC is 0 and V out is 0. Means for high frequencies the output voltage is reducing. For high frequencies the reactance is low. Because of low reactance, the output voltage will be reduced. Okay, for low frequencies only we get more V out. Okay, if you increase the frequency, the output will be reduced. Okay, means it allows only low frequencies. It allows only low frequencies. If you increase the frequency, reactance is decreased, that causes the reduce in the voltage. That is the principle of this low pass filters. Means V out will be only responding with low frequencies, not for high frequencies. Okay, here in the previous case, this is the ideal circuit. Okay, this is the ideal frequency response. Now we see the actual response. Okay, here initially it allows the frequency. Okay, this is the on x-axis we have frequency, y-axis the amplitude. Okay, here the curve is okay decreasing. Okay, after cutoff frequency, the amplitude is going towards 0. The amplitude completely reduces for high frequencies. Okay, only the below this cutoff frequency only we have certain output. Beyond this limit, the output will be decreases. Okay, this is called low pass filter. Next one is high pass filters. Second one is high pass filter. Here the filter allowing the frequency beyond the cutoff frequency. Suppose in previous case we are allowing the frequency below this omega c, means lower frequencies are allowing through filter. But in case of high pass filter, the frequency above this omega c only allowed, means only high frequencies only allowed. Low frequencies are restricted, rejected from the filter. Such type of filters are called high pass filters. Okay, here low frequencies are rejected, only allows the high frequencies. This is called high pass filters. These are the circuits. This is the passive circuit of this filter. This is the active circuit of the filter. The only difference between the low pass and high pass filter circuit is we are changing the position of resistance and capacitance. We are changing the position of resistance and capacitance. In previous circuit, capacitance is here and resistance is there. But now capacitance and resistance are replacing their places. Okay, this is passive filter. If we attach op amp to this passive filter, then it is called active filter. Okay, this is the ideal response of the frequency. Now we see the high pass filter. See this. Okay, now we are taking, this is the high pass filter. According to the voltage divide rule, we are taking output at middle node, that is V out, that is equal to R by R plus XC into V in. In previous case low pass filter, XC by XC plus R. Now R by R plus XC. Okay, here V out is inversely proportional to XC. If you increase the XC, V out decreases. If you increase the XC, V out decreases. In previous case, if you increase the XC, V out increases. Now if you increase the XC, V out decreases because it is in denominator. Okay, now XC is equal to 1 by omega. If you decrease the omega, decreasing means 0. Suppose omega is 0, 1 by 0 infinity, XC is infinity. Okay, infinity plus R infinity. Okay, anything for infinity 0 means V out will be 0. Okay, for lower frequencies the output will be 0, but for higher frequencies the output is increasing. Means this is the reverse when compared with the low pass filters. Okay, here omega is 0 means lower frequency. The value of XC is infinity. If the value of XC is infinity, anything for by infinity is nothing but 0. 1 by infinity is 0, R by infinity is 0. Then 0 means V out will be 0. Means for lower frequencies the output voltage is lower. Okay, for only higher frequencies we get output voltage from this equation. This is the principle for high pass filters. Okay, now we see the frequency response, the actual frequency response. In previous case we are saying ideal type. Now for lower frequencies the output is very less. The output is increasing by increasing the frequency. After cutoff frequency, okay, the output is stable. The output is stable, that is maintaining. Means the filter allowing the frequency above omega c and rejecting the frequencies below omega c. Okay, but this is the actual curve. But if we ideal curve, the frequency is 0, the allowing frequency is 0 up to omega c. But practically the allowing frequency is increasing with frequency. The output is increasing with the frequency. But in ideal case, the output is 0 up to frequency. This is ideal one. This is the real one. This is called high pass filters. Okay. Next one, band pass filters. Band pass filter, this is the third type of filter. Here we are fixing certain band, certain range. Okay, suppose this is the omega 1 frequency at here omega 2, means the filter allows the frequency between omega 1 and omega 2 only, means the frequency allowed between these two ranges only, and rejects the frequency below this band and above this band, means these two are rejected, only the frequency between this range only allowed. Then this band frequency only allowed, that is omega 1 to omega 2. Then the filter is called band pass filters, means These are allowing frequency between the range, certain range. Okay, now see this. Okay, here we have two capacitances and two resistances. Okay, okay, first one, see this, capacitance is here and capacitance is here, means first we are allowing up to certain frequency. Okay, then the frequency, output of the frequency is again filtering by this circuit. Two times filtering is there. That filtering is depending on the omega 1 and omega 2. Suppose we are allowing frequency up to omega 2. Okay, it reduces the frequency below the omega 1. Then we get output that is omega 1 minus omega 2 only. This is the working of the band pass filter. Okay, this is the passive filter, only have passive elements, resistor and capacitor. Here the active filter, we are adding op amp or transistor to this circuit. Here we get some gain here. Okay, now we see the frequency response of the band pass filters. Here initially the output is low, okay, up to omega 1. After omega 1, the output is increases, okay, up to certain range, and again decreases up to omega 2. After omega 2, it is drastically decreases. Okay, means here the curve between the omega and between the omega 1 and omega 2, we have certain output, means we have the certain output between the omega 1 and omega 2, because we are allowing the frequencies between the omega 1 and omega 2. This is the frequency response curve for band pass filter. Next one, band reject filter. Band reject filter, it is the reverse of the band pass filters. In previous filter, we are allowing the frequencies between omega 1 and omega 2. Here we are rejecting the frequency between omega 1 and omega 2. Okay, means we are allowing the frequency, the filter allowing the frequency below omega 1 and above omega 2, and the frequency between the omega 1 and omega 2 are rejected. That's why it is called band rejected filter, means the frequency band between the omega 1 and omega 2 are rejected. In previous case, we are accepted only the band between the omega 1 and omega 2. Now we are rejecting that part. Then the filter is called band reject filter, that is also called notch filter. Okay, here we are using a special circuit, that is RLC circuit, resistance, inductance and capacitance circuit. Now see this. Okay, here we have resistance, capacitance and inductance also. We are taking output at the inductance, not at capacitance. Okay, here this is the passive type, this is the active type. Okay, by using this circuit, okay, we can reject the frequency between the omega 1 and omega 2. That's why see the frequency response. Okay, at middle, that is 0. Okay, if the curve is moving towards below omega 1, the output is increases. If the output for the frequency is increasing above omega 2, okay, is looking like notch, that's why it is called notch filter. Means we are rejecting the frequency between the omega 1 and omega 2. This part of frequency is rejected by this filter. This is called band reject filter. These are the filters which are used in electronic circuits. What are that? Low pass, high pass, band pass and band reject filter. These 4 filters are used for removing the unwanted frequencies from the signal without changing the information in the signal. Okay, this is about filters. Next concept is bridge circuit. It's 1032. Okay, bridge circuit. This is different. Filters, those are the 4 filters which are widely used in electronic circuits. Next topic is bridge circuit. Already you know bridge circuit. What is the use of bridge circuit? We are measuring. Okay, we are measuring the change in resistance, change in inductance or change in capacitance by using the bridge circuits. Okay, if there is any variation in the resistance, inductance or capacitance, by using bridge circuit we can find that variation. Okay, in strain gauges also bridge circuit is very useful because we can measure the change in resistance in the strain gauge with the help of bridge circuits. Now we see the working principle of the bridge circuit. Here we have 2 types of bridge circuits, that is bridge balance method and imbalance output method. Okay, In bridge balance method, we are balancing the circuit. Okay, if there already balanced circuit is there, if any variation in the resistance causes imbalance in the circuit, we are correcting that imbalance. Means we are balancing the circuit again, okay, by varying the resistance. How much resistance is varying to balance that circuit is the measurement. But in case of imbalance output method, we are taking the imbalance voltage caused due to variation of resistance as a parameter. That is the difference. Now we see the bridge circuit here. See this. Here bridge circuit has 4 elements: R1, R2, R3, R4. Okay, we are giving supply voltage to these 2 terminals, and we are taking the output from the A and B terminal. This is the output voltage we are taking from the A and B. Okay, if the voltage at A and B, that is V out, is 0, initially V out is 0. That is V out is nothing but VA minus VB. VA minus VB is 0. If VA minus VB is 0 means the circuit is in balanced condition. The circuit is in balanced condition. So V naught is equal to VA minus VB. This is the output voltage. Okay, that should be 0 for balanced circuit. Okay, now we see by voltage dividing rule. Okay, what is VA? VA is the node between R1 and R2. Now R1 by R1 plus R2 into what is the voltage, supply voltage here? Vs is the voltage at this node. Okay, into Vs. Now B node, at B node we are taking output voltage. Okay, that is VB. VB is nothing but here 2. We are taking the output between the R3 and R4. So by using voltage dividing rule, R3 by R3 plus R4 into Vs, that is the supply voltage here. Okay, so VA can write R1 by R1 plus R2 into Vs. VB can write R3 by R3 plus R4 into Vs by using voltage division rule. Already I have given that rule in previous slides. If you have any doubts, please see that slide. Okay, now Vs is common. You can take the common Vs, and so further rearranging this equation, we get this equation. Here we are arranging the R1, R2, R3, R4. Okay, this is the condition for bridge balanced. Okay, initially R1 is equal to R2, R3 is equal to R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by R4. This is the ratio. These 2 ratios are equal when the bridge is balanced. When the bridge is balanced. Okay, now one resistance is connected to the sensor. Any one of the resistance is connected to the sensor. Okay, if the sensor changes the one resistance, any one of the resistance. Okay, if resistance changes means definitely there will be some voltage, output voltage. If you get output voltage means the bridge is imbalanced. The bridge is imbalanced. If it is balanced, V naught is equal to 0. If any variation in the resistance causes V out, means the bridge is imbalanced. Okay, you know, we can balance that, okay, by changing the other resistance. If R2 is changing in the sensing element, we can, by varying the R1, we can again we can reduce V out into 0. Okay, how much resistance is required for variation is the measurement. That is bridge balance method. Second is, if there is any variation in the resistance causes V out. If you take that V out as a reading, that is imbalance method. Okay, now we see. Now R1 in the circuit is changed. Suppose R1 is connected to strain gauge. Because of strain, the resistance is changed. Means R1 is changed. R1 is increased. Suppose. Okay, with delta 1 means R1 plus delta R1 is the increase of resistance. Okay, definitely the output voltage will changes. V out should be V out plus delta volts. This is the change in output voltage because of increase of resistance to delta R1. Now we see the relation. Okay, in previous equation. Okay, here V out is, there is a variation in the V out, that is V out plus delta V out. R1 is R1 plus delta R1. Replace that. R1 plus, you can write R1 plus delta R1 because it is increased. Okay, you can replace R1 with R1 plus delta R1, and V out is increases, means V out plus delta V out. Initially V out is 0, but now there is a change in the output voltage. Okay, now we need to measure this change in voltage, that is delta output, that is V plus delta output minus V naught. V naught cancel, we'll get delta output here. You know, V plus delta output means this one. Okay, minus this. Okay, you can rearrange this. Finally we get this equation. If delta R1 means the change in resistance is very small when compared with the R1. Okay, you can neglect certain terms. Okay, by neglecting certain terms, we can get, suppose you neglect the delta R1 in the denominator because delta R1 is very small compared to the R1. Okay, now this one is R1 plus R2. Now LCM is R1 plus R2, R1 plus delta R1 minus R1. R1 cancel. We have delta R1 by R1 plus R2. Vs into delta R1 by R1 plus R2 is the final, okay, expression for change in output. Okay, now this is the change in output. Okay, that is because of R1, change in resistance. Okay, in this way we can find the change in output. According to change in output, we can find the measurement. That is the one way. Okay, otherwise is if you have delta V naught value is certain value, and by changing the R2 value, you can become delta V naught should be 0. How much R2 is required to, okay, to delta V naught is equal to 0. We are measuring that R2. Based on that R2, we can measure the measurement. This is called bridge circuit. Okay, I will unmute you. Please, if you have any doubts regarding filters and bridge circuits, ask me now. Please unmute yourself and ask me if you have any doubts regarding filters and bridge circuit. Sir, simple concept. If the bridge is balanced, the voltage between AB is 0. V naught should be 0. At VA is equal to VB. If there is any imbalance because of variation of any resistance, okay, there is VA and VB are not equal. Okay, based on that difference, we can measure the change in resistance. The change in resistance is the measure of change in length or any other thing. Hello, please unmute yourself. If you have any doubts regarding bridge circuit and filters, please ask me now. So no doubts. సార్ అసలు డౌటే లేదా, అసలు మీకు ఏం అర్థం కాలేదా? సరే వదిలేండి. నెక్స్ట్ వన్. Okay, next one is current to voltage and voltage to current converters. We need two more devices, that is current to voltage converter or voltage to current converters. In so many applications, we need to convert the voltage into current, and certain cases we need to convert the current into voltage. Suppose the output of the sensor is variation of voltage. The output of the sensor is variation of voltage, but in circuit we need variation of current. So the output from the sensor, that is voltage, should be converted into in the form of current. Okay, for our requirement. For that purpose, we are using voltage to current converters. Okay, sometimes we need to convert current into voltage. Then we are using current to voltage converters. Now we see a circuit. This is the circuit for voltage to current converter. Voltage to current converter. Okay, this voltage to current or current to voltage is converters are based on the operational amplifiers. Based on the operational amplifier. This is the operational amplifier which is used for converting the voltage into current. Now we see this. Here the input voltage is given to the inverting end, that is negative end. Okay, and positive is connected to the output is connected to this positive. Okay, now the voltage, input voltage, okay, is given here negative, and the current is flowing through load to input resistor like this. Okay, if you apply voltage at negative, Okay, the current from the output means output voltage we are moving in this direction, means I load and IRI is same and same in direction. So both are connected in series. That's why IRI is equal to I load. Okay. Now what is the relationship between current and resistance and voltage? The relationship between the V and I is equal to V is equal to IR, or I is equal to V by RI. Now IRI is equal to I load, means IRI is equal to VI by RI. Okay. Now I load is equal to VI by RI, because IRI is equal to I load also VI by RI. We know input voltage and input resistance. Okay, by this relation we can convert the input voltage into output current. Load current means output current. By using this amplifier circuit, we can convert the input voltage into output current with the help of these relations. Okay, by using this relation we can convert the input voltage into output current. Next one, current to voltage converter. Now the operational amplifier is connected like this, means here the positive terminal is grounded and the input, here we are converting current into voltage. So the input is current, II is the input current that is given to the inverting. Okay, now the feedback is connected to output to inverting terminal, that is RF. Okay, we are taking voltage at load resistance. Okay, we need V out, the current flowing through this RF is II. Okay, so the resistance is R. Here the input current I and resistance is R. What is the output? What is the relationship between the V and I and R? V is equal to IR. So V out is equal to input current into the resistance of feedback voltage. That is the final output. Means we are converting input current into output voltage by helping with the help of this relation. Means input current, resistance, feedback resistance. Okay, input current into feedback resistance gives the output voltage. In this way we can convert, in this connection, in this circuit we can convert the input current into output voltage. This is called current to voltage converter. Okay, we can convert voltage to current and current to voltage by using Ohm's law, that is equal to, based on Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. Last one in this topic, that is voltage to frequency and frequency to voltage converters. Voltage to frequency, frequency to voltage converters. VFCs, FVC. VFC and FCC. First we see, in some industrial applications we need a frequency modulation. We have to change the frequency. Okay, yeah. So we need to, it is necessary to produce the output signal with required frequency, which is proportional to the level of input signal. Okay, the devices which are used for voltage to frequency converters are VFCs, that is voltage controlled oscillators. Now we see, this is the voltage to frequency converter. This is the circuit of voltage to frequency converter. This is also operational amplifier. Okay, with the input voltage is there, that input voltage is given to the inverting terminal, and there is a feedback circuit. We are arranging a capacitor in the feedback circuit, and here we are using a switching, okay, device here, switching device here. Okay, now we are giving certain input voltage here, with, means there is a signal with certain frequency. We are giving a signal with certain frequency. Okay, here the capacitor is charging and discharging. The capacitor is charging and discharging. You know that how the capacitor is working. Okay, if you apply the voltage across the capacitor, it is charging. Okay, and certain, if you remove that voltage and connected to switching device, it is discharging. So there is a discharging and charging of the capacitor is there. The discharging and charging period is depending on the applying voltage. So there is a relationship between the charging and the discharging time with the voltage. Okay, and the voltage is directly, the charging voltage is directly proportional to the frequency of the signal. By using these relations, we can convert the voltage into, okay, input voltage signal into frequency signal. See this? Yeah, the time required for the charging of a capacitor with fixed voltage level is inversely proportional to charging voltage. Means the time required for charging of a capacitor is inversely proportional to charging voltage. Okay, and the frequency is depending on the charging voltage. Okay, based on this discharging and charging time of the capacitor, we can convert the frequency of the input signal. Okay, with the help of this voltage to frequency converter. Voltage to frequency converter. Here we have a switching device. If the switching device, if the voltage is equal to, is above the reference voltage, the switch is on. If the voltage is below the reference voltage, the switching is off. Okay, if switch is on means the capacitor is starting the charging. If switch is on means the capacitor is discharging. Okay, with the help of discharging and charging, we can change the frequency of the input signal. We can change the frequency of the input signal, means output signal, which means output voltage has a different frequency. Can increase the frequency, means the frequency, the wave we get is between the output voltage and the reference voltage. The frequency, we can control the frequency between output voltage and reference voltage, because at reference voltage only switching is on. Okay, the voltage below the reference voltage means the switch is off. Okay, there is no charging in the capacitor. Okay, by with the help of this circuit, we can control the frequency and we can convert the voltage into frequency. Next, a frequency to voltage converter. A frequency to voltage converter. Here we are using a comparator op-amp. A comparator op-amp, already I explained. Okay, op-amp used for comparison. Means we are here, we are giving the signal, frequency signal, that is input signal. Okay, frequency means the wave, the current wave frequency, the amplitude of the current wave. Okay, here we are comparing the frequency with reference voltage. Okay, if the frequency is more than reference voltage, then only we are, the frequency signal is entering into the switching circuit. If the reference voltage is below, if frequency signal is below reference voltage, there is no allow of signal. Only the frequency which is above the reference voltage, that is only allowed to the switching voltage. It on the switch circuit that causes charging and discharging of the capacitor. Okay, here the voltage is, the frequency is changed into voltage. Okay, this is the smoothing circuit. Finally we got V out. Finally we got V out. Okay, here the frequency is converted into V out. In previous case, output voltage is converted into frequency. This is the voltage to frequency, frequency to voltage we can convert by using this circuit. Okay, time is over. I will unmute you. If you have any doubts, please ask me. This is the last topic in the second unit. Sir, if you have any doubts, please ask me. Already 10 members, more than 10 members are left. Sir. Okay, I will share these PPTs. If you once read those, if you have any doubts, further doubts, please contact me. Please, if you have any doubts up to now, please ask me. Please unmute everyone. Please unmute everyone. Hello. Sir, మాట్లాడండి సార్. ఒక్కసారి చదవండి అమ్మా, మీకు ఏ మాత్రం డౌట్ వచ్చినా అడగండి. ఓకే, వన్ మోర్ థింగ్, మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నానమ్మా, మినిమం నాలెడ్జ్. ఒకవేళ ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఇచ్చాడు అనుకోండి, దానికి మినిమం ఆన్సర్ రాయగలిగినా చాలు సార్. ఓకే
ఓకే,
ఫిల్టర్స్, ఈ సర్క్యూట్స్, ఓపామ్ సర్క్యూట్స్ అన్ని చదవండి అమ్మా. ఓకే, మినిమం నాలెడ్జ్ తెచ్చుకోండి. ఏదన్నా అర్థం కాకపోతే నన్ను అడగండి. ఓకే, డీప్ గా అవసరం లేదు, జస్ట్ వర్కింగ్, ఆ సర్క్యూట్ ఎలా ఉంటుందో చూడండి చాలు. ఓకే ఓకే.